manhunt for August 26th is now in progress. To date, you have captured 900 fugitives. Coming up, the clues that could lead to your next capture. Now, join the manhunt with John Walsh.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening. By now, everyone has probably had a stomach full of that creepy John Carr. But let me tell you what really turns my stomach about him. This wacko was a teacher. Not only that, he was hired to teach in school after school after school all over the country, and then all over the world. With school starting up again this fall, the good news is that John Carr isn't teaching anymore. But the bad news is that other twisted teachers are.
Looking at this home video, you might think this blonde bombshell's a dancer at a local strip joint, but she doesn't work in the adult entertainment industry. She worked in an elementary school, and unbelievably, she sent this by cell phone to one of her 13-year-old students.
I don't know what I was thinking, and it's clear that I wasn't thinking. I was blinded by emotions that I'm ashamed that I had.
And Pamela Rogers isn't the only teacher making headlines for giving kids an inappropriate lesson in sex education. Margaret Tabarakua was arrested after police found her in a car with steamy windows. She was having sex with her 16-year-old special ed student. And they weren't alone. Her 2-year-old was sitting in the back seat. And the most notorious case of all, Mary Kay Letourneau. She made national headlines when she gave birth in 1997, making her victim a father at age 14. In case after case, we've seen pedophiles working in schools and preying on children. Are we really doing all we can to ensure that children are safe from sexual predators?
I am a survivor of educator sexual abuse. When I was about 14 years old, I went to New York City public school where I was sexually abused by my high school guidance counselor.
Donna's guidance counselor used a gentle approach, some flirting and touching to groom his naive victim.
Then one day, while the door was open, he grabbed me and he kissed me on the lips. And he closed the door to his office, and he went to his file cabinet and pulled out a pornographic magazine, and he told me women like to be raped, beaten, and abused, and he was going to show me how to be a woman.
Back when Donna was sadistically molested during the late 70s, there were very few policies in place to help safeguard students. It wasn't until the early 80s that school systems started using various kinds of background checks.
There are perverts and predators in our classrooms, and we're trying to make sure that children are protected from those people who are trying to harm them.
Terry Miller heads a watchdog group called Sesame. Stop educator sexual abuse, misconduct, and exploitation. She thinks there's a lot of room for schools to improve the screening process.
The crux of the problem is that I don't think our school districts are doing a good enough job in checking the backgrounds of these predators. The other problem is that they've let too many of them go quietly, and they are getting hired by district after district.
Letting these mobile molesters resign and move to a new school district is so common that educators have even given it a name. They call it passing the trash, and that's exactly what happened in Donna's case. 20 years later, Donna called her high school and was shocked to learn that her old teacher, Gary Landau, was still there working as a guidance counselor. She decided to go undercover and get the proof she needed to get him out of that school for good by getting him to talk about what he'd done and secretly taping it.
The statute of limitations for criminal charges had completely run, so there was no way of doing a criminal case. We felt that if, in fact, he had engaged in this sexual abuse, that we had to make sure that was known and get him out of the school system.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that. At one point, he try to grab me and kiss me. But I pushed him away, and we had to end the conversation right there because I didn't feel very safe being in his office alone with him.
After almost 30 years in the New York City school system, Gary Landau was allowed to surrender his teaching license and quietly resign with his pension, avoiding the possibility of a more severe punishment.
It's critically important for schools not to simply pass the trash, but to deal with the situation, involve law enforcement, get these individuals away from our children.
The notorious case of band teacher George Crear is another perfect example of passing the trash.
He was a very popular teacher. He could do no wrong. Even amongst the faculty, he was the star teacher.
Kim alleges that Crear sexually abused her while she was his student in Florida. But when he came to trial in 1997, the verdict surprised even his own attorneys.
Not guilty.
But he couldn't escape his past.
Not until I came forward did I realize that this had happened before in another state, and they had released him, and they promised to be quiet if he left immediately.
Thanks to Kim's courage and public trial, yet another student from Michigan came forward with similar allegations. Michigan prosecutors charged Crear with sexual assault. This time he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. John Carr, the man who was recently arrested for the murder of JonBenet Ramsey, is one of those guys who managed to go from state to state working as a substitute teacher. In Alabama, parents complained of Carr getting too close to his female students. The school just let him go. Carr then moved on to another teaching job in California. He was arrested on child pornography charges, but after a judge released him, he traveled around the world, teaching in Germany, Thailand, and Costa Rica. Background checks didn't provide the safety net in this case because he was never convicted of any sex crime.
The big complaint against school districts is they're not doing a good enough job. They're too much in a hurry to get a teacher in the classroom and fill those classrooms. They're not taking the time, really, to make sure that that person is fit to serve.
Despite new technology, schools are still inconsistent in screening people, and predators are slipping through the cracks. So what should you do if you suspect a teacher or other school employee molested your child?
Go to the cops first so that the cops can get the statement and conduct their investigation, because they are the trained sexual abuse investigators. School personnel are not trained sexual abuse investigators.
I mean, if the school system is trying to protect the kids, they need to protect the kids. That's what their job is.
And it's our job to catch criminals. And tonight we're going after two accused predators who took advantage of innocent children. Richard Gibbs was a professor at Shippensburg University in Pennsylvania. On July 31st, 2006, he was a no-show at his hearing for child pornography charges. But that's not all. He's also wanted in Ohio, California, and North Carolina on child molestation charges. Gibbs likes to spend time in nudist camps and might be in Florida, Pennsylvania, or North Carolina. Oscar Trevino was a school bus driver in Mantorville, Minnesota, who was charged in 2001 with sexually assaulting a 13-year-old student on his bus route. He has these faded tattoos on each forearm and the letters AMOR on his left knuckles. If you know where either of these lowlifes might be hiding out, help us take them off the streets by calling our hotline at 1-800-CRIME-TV.